Marhaba, hello, ni hao, annyeonghaseyo. My name is Joe, and welcome to Hablo con Pablo. Today we're going to be talking about a subject that is very close to me, and it is how to become an online tutor and some tips once you've already started your journey. So I started tutoring about 2 years ago on a website called Cambly, and I will go ahead and share the link for Cambly if you would like to try it out as well. I started about 2 years ago, and it has been an amazing experience being able to work with people from all over the world and to help people who are trying to reach their goals to learn more and hopefully advance their career or just feel better in general with their lives. Education really is a calling, so if you like to help people and you like to learn as well, I definitely recommend becoming an online tutor, since this will be the best way that you can meet folks from all over the world and also learn about their cultures, learn about the kind of things that happen in their countries, and at the same time you can share your own experience. In my case, I applied to work on Cambly, which is a platform that needs native speakers in order to help people who are learning English as a second language to improve their skills. I applied and I had to wait a couple of weeks before they gave me an answer, but once they did respond, I was able to start right away, and that's where I ran into some challenges. But let's talk a little bit about how we become online tutors, because a person who enjoys teaching others and seeks a work-at-home opportunity should become an online tutor. We work from the comfort of our own home, and also you have to practice a little bit of academic material of all ages. Sometimes students need extra help with schoolwork or with their job because they're struggling with a particular subject. Or maybe they are trying to improve their test score for a test like IELTS or TOEFL, and they will often enlist the services of an online tutor. Now, there's a variety of online tutoring companies that exist to help these students improve their performance, and we'll talk about them as well. Now, an online tutor can earn extra money just by sitting at the computer, helping others learn, and this fact is the main reason why most people would love to become an online tutor. Now, there's a difference between tutoring and teaching. So, a tutor I see as somebody who is there to help you, to guide you, to give you some recommendations based on the things that you are learning. Whereas an online teacher, they have a program from A to Z, they have a curriculum and a plan that will help you achieve your goal a specific way. Now, some online tutoring companies require that the tutors possess either a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. Others state that any online tutor can work just by having a certificate or even being a retired school teacher. Obviously, the first things that you're going to need as a tutor is a good computer and access to high-speed internet. Each person who wants to become an online tutor will need to get a little bit of training so they can learn how to transfer their teaching skills into a virtual environment. And you have to feel comfortable using the technology and talking to people face-to-face, and using different multimedia tools, including electronic whiteboards, VoIP, which is voice over IP, and other methods, so your students can have the best experience. Now, if someone desires to become an online tutor, they need to apply to the company. Usually this involves filling out an online application, which can be very simple, but you have to think about your work history, your educational background, professional background, so the students can try to point you out as the best option for them. Some of them, they require some teaching experience. In other cases, you can just go ahead and jump in, kind of like Cambly. It does help, though, to have this kind of experience so the students will feel more comfortable. Um, Once the application is in, some places they do a criminal background check, which, this is not so common. Sometimes, since online tutors work with children, that is an important investigation that takes place in order to ensure the safety of the children online. The online tutoring services seek educated individuals to work for their companies. They hunt for skilled teachers who know how to relate to students and bring out the best in them. If someone desires to become an online teacher, they can expect to earn extra money as they help students with their homework. The hours are very flexible. Um, with Cambly, for example, you can make your own schedule, pick some hours every day, um, and you just have to be available during that time. Or you have the option to just become available without having what we call priority time, where you have to answer every call that you get. Now, the application process can be a little bit frustrating sometimes when you're trying to apply to different companies online and we are not able to get a response. So don't worry, you just maybe need to gain a little bit more experience, and there are different websites that help people who are just starting in the online tutoring. For example, engu.com, they have tons of materials that you can use to prepare your classes, to talk to students about different subjects. They have daily news as well, which are very interesting articles that contain vocabulary, reading, and questions. So it's a triple threat. You get everything you need in order to make an effective class. And yeah, you can also tutor with them. The pay is not so great. You do get some bonuses if you hit certain milestones, but as I said, it's a good place to start to learn how to be an effective tutor. And I'm going to read some tips about how to become an effective online tutor, because it can be pretty stressful, especially since your effectiveness as a tutor directly correlates to your overall success. So being an online tutor goes far beyond what you do in the classroom and stretches into your general daily routine. Like a smart man once said, the secret of your success is determined by your daily agenda. So it's no secret that your effectiveness as an online tutor is hidden in your daily agenda. Your daily schedule as an effective online tutor should include everything you do to prepare for your lessons, how you communicate the material to your students, and how you end every class. Now, why is learning how to be an effective online tutor important? Well, the COVID-19 pandemic has changed the way the world learns forever, with billions of people turning to their smartphones and laptops to access quality education. Now, in a study conducted in 2019, research and markets expect that the global value of the online education market will reach $350 billion by 2025. With online learning gaining popularity, you'll thank yourself for dedicating time to learn how to bring value to your students. Plus, you'll stand out from the crowd in the sea of online tutors with all your tips and tricks. Cambly is an excellent place to start your online tutoring career because they don't require any prior experience or education, and in fact, it was voted in the top 4 online ESL tutoring companies. Now, let's get down to business and talk about 10 tips for how to be an effective online tutor. Number 1, personalize lessons to your students' needs. Like Albert Einstein said, everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. So I believe that any online tutor should keep this quote in the back of their mind when they're speaking with new students and regulars. It reminds us to be adaptable while catering to our students' needs and unique learning capabilities. One student may be a visual learner, whereas the other may be an auditory learner. So remaining adaptable is crucial for being an effective online tutor. However, I recognize that it's harder to accomplish in a room of 5 to 20 students. So luckily, most online tutoring settings are one-on-one, so get in the habit of playing your students' strengths. They'll love you for it, and you'll see fast progress in their abilities. Number 2, take an online class. Enrolling in an online course to expand your tutoring skills is not necessary, but it will definitely help you on your path of becoming an effective tutor. The more you understand about the ins and outs of tutoring, ESL, or any subject, the more effective you will communicate that material to your student. We should all hold a lifelong learner mindset. Admitting that you don't know everything at all times is very admirable, and a lot of growth comes from that kind of mindset. Now, ESL tutors can make a few fantastic online courses to expand their knowledge, including TEFL or TESOL, and often Skillshare memberships or YouTube will be a nice way to just brush up on some skills. Number 3, come prepared with extra resources. The tutoring platform that you work for may provide a lot of resources you'll need as a tutor, as seen with the Cambly library. Although sometimes it's good to branch out and check out what else the internet has to offer. Becoming a successful and effective tutor doesn't just happen overnight. Online tutors that take the time to build their curriculum regularly consult informative online resources to become the best at their craft. Now, once you find some extra high-quality resources, share them with your students and encourage them to study the material. The internet is an incredible place with endless educational possibilities. Number 4, don't be afraid to use TPR. What's TPR? TPR stands for Total Physical Response, otherwise known as TPR. It's an effective method of teaching language or vocabulary concepts by using physical movement to react to the verbal input. TPR is essentially modeling speech, such as pretending to swing a bat when teaching a student the word baseball, or gesturing a smiling motion with your hands when teaching a student vocabulary related to emotions. Now, TPR is highly effective for creating an engaging lesson and leaving the lasting impression on the student. Humans learn through 3 primary methods: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Using TPR helps you dive into all 3 ways. The next tip on how to be an effective online tutor is be relatable. Being a person that your student relates to can be tricky. You're fluent, you're a native speaker in the language that they're trying to learn. However, chances are as an online tutor you've studied some other languages or you've at least studied English enough to become a qualified tutor. So show your student that you have done tons of learning and problem solving to get to where you are now. Remember on what it was like learning all those pesky grammar rules and sympathize with the hardships of learning a language. Share some of your best tips and tricks with them and show them that you found personally helpful remembering some rules and see if you can get some good takeaways for them. Now, some helpful advice you can give your students based on personal experience include memorization techniques, note-taking hacks, mind maps that create links to verbs and vocabulary, also productivity tips such as the Pomodoro technique, which we can talk about another day, but basically it's dividing every hour in different time sections in order to make sure that you're always working. And the last thing is positive habit creation. As students, there has to be a consistency and a method, but with online teaching, sometimes it's very open. So we need to try to reinforce the importance of practicing outside of the class as well. Now, with these 5 things, this will help you be a relatable person. This will automatically make your students feel more at ease, and it will create a safe space for your students to ask any questions. So if your student is comfortable and feels supported by you, they will advance incredibly fast in their language learning, and that makes you an effective tutor. Next, we have number 6, professionalism is key. To gain a base of regular students you love working with, you must focus on being as professional as possible. Professionalism is absolutely vital in the online tutoring industry because that is what establishes you as a trustworthy person. Next, in my experience tutoring ESL students, a professional tutor will have the following attributes. Punctuality. If you're running late, message the student and let them know. Communication is key. Schedule lessons in advance and plan. Send your student a message after class celebrating their achievements. Always come prepared. Have empathy. And admit when you don't know something. Find the answer together. And if you've nailed all these tips above, you're well on your way to developing a professional reputation. Now, the other thing that we can do is encourage critical thinking. As online tutors, it's our role to motivate our students to reach new heights and encourage them to think critically. As an effective online tutor, you will encourage your students to share their thoughts and opinions, study new topics, and ask thought-provoking questions regularly. Motivate your students to consider the material at a macro level and then dig into the nitty-gritty details of a grammar rule or an advanced text. Encourage them to problem solve when they are having difficulty comprehending a specific topic. When students are forced to think critically, they are much more likely to practice this form of thinking and retain more information than they would viewing something just on the surface. So sure, good tutors help students achieve top marks in exams, but a great tutor will encourage them to think critically about the English language and the world as a whole. Number 8, make your classes interactive. What student learns anything in a boring class? Making your classes interactive not only keeps your students engaged, but studies also show that conventional learning has many limitations. When students learn in an interactive environment, they are more likely to retain the material. Luckily, there are endless options to create an interactive educational experience with online learning, and some of my favorite ways to keep classes interactive are to read exciting news articles, have students keep a diary, and play games. Another key to maintaining an interactive environment is to play on the students' interests. Number 9, open up your schedule and be available. To gain regular students, you need to be available for more than 2 hours every week. Well, at least at the start when you're trying to find repeat students. Most successful online tutors open their schedules a few weeks in advance. This allows time for those slots to fill up and students to ask questions about availability. Regular students will start to see patterns in your schedule and will likely request the same lesson time each week. Aside from scheduling, it's essential to be available for your students when they need you. Being available means wholeheartedly supporting your students and helping them achieve their goals. So let your students know that you are there for them anytime they have a question. Take the time to explain things in detail, and remember that being available is much more than class time. Pro tip: I like to leave a little break between my classes. Even if the break is only 5 minutes, it allows me to be flexible with the timing of classes. This is not always possible, but when it is, it's nice having time to accommodate a student with extra questions or prepare for the next lesson. And the last tip we have is start small, then branch out. No tutor can be truly effective when they have too much work on their hands. So if you are a new tutor, a good practice is to start with a small group of regular students and then branch out once you feel confident that your schedule is healthy and sustainable. Now, you can't pour from an empty cup, and your students are bound to notice if you're feeling overwhelmed. So, take things slow and focus on a few things at a time to see optimal results. And well, as you can see, a lot of elements go into being an effective tutor. If you focus on having a positive attitude and a genuine interest in seeing your students succeed, you'll do just fine in the world of online tutoring. And so that's about it for our recommendations today about how to start being an online tutor and how to be an effective tutor once you're already on your way. Hopefully another day we'll talk a little bit about different websites, how they work, what they offer, and I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day.